All right, first graders, we are going to make a beautiful painting inspired by Van Gogh of sunflowers. To start, we're going to make a vase. You have two choices. You can either trace a vase stencil or you can draw your own. If you choose to draw your own, just make sure that your vase is bigger than your hand. So lay your hand down and make sure it's larger than. You'll see that I'm using a black material to draw mine. Now I'm making a line that goes behind for the table. Now I'm going to decorate my vase. You may decorate your vase however you want. The guiding worksheet I gave you has lots of different examples of ways that you could decorate a vase. Are these the only ways in the whole wide world? Absolutely not. This is your painting, so you may choose your own way. Mine is kind of starting to look like a mermaid or a fish here. I like it. At the end of this lesson, we are going to be writing our names on our vases. So make sure you leave a little area to do that. Now I'm going to make circles above my vase. These are going to turn into the centers of the sunflowers. Don't make the petals right now. We will make those later. I think I'll even make one that fell out of the vase on the table there. Now I'm ready for painting. Remember when you paint that your paintbrush is a ballerina. Ballerinas always dance on their tippy toes. Ballerinas never ever scoot around on their bottoms because nobody wants to go to the booty scooting ballet. So make sure only the tip of your paintbrush goes in. Now I am dipping in the water and making X's on my sponge so it's nice and clean and ready for my next color. I think I'm going to mix a little bit of dark green in there and do something called stippling. Stippling is a fancy way to say little dots. Again, I'm rinsing my brush, making X's on the sponge. Now I'm going to make the petals. They're just little lines that radiate from the center. If I get a little bit of brown on my paintbrush when I do this, that's okay. It'll actually just look like some of the colors in a sunflower. It oftentimes has a yellowish brown color. Again, I'm only painting with the tiptoes of my paintbrush. It's a ballerina, only tippy toes. All the way around. I think when I'm done with the yellow, I might even add some orange on top. Sunflowers tend to be colors like yellow or yellowish orange. Sometimes there's a little bit of brown in there, but it's usually mainly yellow. Always rinsing very well. When I overlap the colors, something is happening called blending. Blending is when you paint wet paint on top of wet paint, and the colors mix together to make a color that's in between. This works well if you're using colors that are next door neighbors on the color wheel. Orange and yellow are neighbors, so they look pretty together. Now I am going to make my stems. I'm going to choose a value of green, either light green or dark green, and I'm going to make lines that go from my flower to the vase. They can curve, they can be straight. When I have an overlap area, I'm lifting up the paintbrush. The stem is going behind the flower. And I'm going to curve this one because that flower is sort of next to. I think I'd like to add some leaves and maybe just some greenery to my arrangement. So I'm going to make a flower. I like to flip my paintbrush upside down and scrape away to make the veins in the leaves. I think I'm just going to make some little leafy areas. Sometimes when you have a bouquet of flowers, some of the plants just have leaves. They're kind of like filler plants. A few more. Rinse and X, 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 X. Now I'm going to paint my vase. There are no rules for painting your vase other than to use the materials properly. That means tiptoes with your paintbrush and always rinse colors. You may use whatever colors you like and whatever types of patterns you like. It's really your choice. Try to use good craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is how you do something. So if I were going outside of the lines all over my paper, that would be bad craftsmanship. I would not be doing my personal best. I'm trying to make my painting look nice and neat for the viewer. Rinse, XXX. I'm going to make an AB pattern. I have blue and I left little open areas where I plan to add red. It's much easier when you're making a pattern to make one color first and fill the whole in with that color. So you can see I did blue, blank, and now I'm filling in the blank with red. So I end up with blue, red, blue, red. I'm going to paint the whole bottom in the same color, red. Like I said, we'll be adding our names, so I intentionally left an area of my vase without too much pattern on it. Oops, and it looks like I forgot that little flower sitting on the table. I'll go ahead and fill that in brown and give it some petals. Now, when we are making our backgrounds, we're going to utilize some techniques that Van Gogh used. One is called streaking. That's where you brush the paint on and almost like stripes. Then I'm going to do with another color to kind of fill in those white areas. Van Gogh used a lot of different types of brush strokes, and he let a lot of his brush strokes remain visible, and that's what we're doing here. Now around our flowers, we're going to make spirals and swirls. I really want you to try your hardest to stay off of your sunflowers. You made beautiful flowers, so don't go and paint on top of them. Swirling around, not on. I'm being really careful only to use the tip toe of my brush here because I want a thin line. The lighter I paint, the thinner the line I get. And now I have a beautiful vase of sunflowers. All I need to do is add my name. I'm going to go back with a black oil pastel, and on that open area, I am going to add my name. Now guys, this sounds silly, but make sure you add your name. I've had kids before write my name on their painting. I'm writing my name in the example because this is my painting. On your painting, write your name so everyone knows that you are responsible for this beautiful sunflower painting inspired by Vincent van Gogh.